happiness and wisdom. That is the topic we have taken in this new year. And we have reached to a stage, two marriages, intellect to knowledge and mind to wisdom, and mind to wisdom or knowledge by satsang, one aspect, and the mind marries to the intellect by emotional resilience. Mind, understand that clearly. If you understand you are not going to leave, you'll be motivated and inspired. So, and then we have the 8 steps. And the first step is to study Eastern wisdom, to study yourself. I'll give you a different perspective of studying Eastern wisdom to study yourself. Study Eastern wisdom to study yourselves. I'm giving you a new perspective and reflect on it. Think. And when you think that the mind drops the impurities, and then you are self-motivated and inspired. Let us see why to study Eastern wisdom. I've already explained the background. Animals and we all, human, birth, growth, death. Do you think the animals do not know it? Growth, birth, and death, and adulthood. They hurt their leg and they start limping. Do you believe that animals do not know it? They know it. It is again the mind, animal mind. Do you think it is an intellect? Mind. Do animals and the humans experience pain and pleasure? Yes, we do it. I also experience, you also experience, animals also experience. I saw the Discovery Channel after overeating, the lion just lies down and they continue to sleep for 2 days. When you overeat, we have the same thing. What's a big deal? We are misusing the intellect. Oh, I have overeaten and I'm oversleeping. That's not good for the profession. I have to attend the meeting. I could not do it. I had constipation. This is all animal mind information. Think of it. What the master is pointing out. I am teaching only from the Eastern wisdom, nothing else. Hunger came. You are hungry and animals are also hungry. So we eat food, go to sleep. Animals are not aware of the sleep, waking and dream state. We have seen our pets also dreams. What a big deal. I also dream and I also wake up. What's a big deal? Nature does it. Nature does it for me, does it for animals. Why to study Eastern wisdom? Why to study Eastern wisdom? That is, I want to answer that question by giving these examples. All animals, 90% of our activities and the animal activities are governed by the nature. What is a big deal of the intellect? We think big deal of the intellect. I like pasta. No, no, I like chicken. Are we really using our intellect? I'm just asking you to think. I know my honey, doesn't love me. Same thing happens in the animal kingdom also. At the time of the mating, the two lion fight, one is left. And they mate and they create an offspring. What a big deal. Are we really human beings? Ask yourself. Everything is governed by the nature. And we add some spices into what is governed by the nature, and then we say, I'm using my intellect. We are a great human beings. Can you tell me? Just think, animal cubs, the lion cubs, they are very small. They remain under the protection of their mother. So we, nature. So nature. As they grow older, Dad, you did not. My parents are crazy. They did not uh, bring me. They did not nurture me. So the same thing. The lion cubs becomes younger and they fight with their dad and mom and they say, yes, done. What is a big deal? Tell me. Look at the observation our masters have made. Look at this. We are hungry, we eat. We are feeling sleepy, so the animals. We fight as we grow older and adult. Now I'm more intelligent, Dad and Mom. So our master says, you use your intellect when you transcend the three states. You should acquire the knowledge how to transcend the waking dream and the sleep state. Animals cannot do. I can do it. How? By intellect, by getting the knowledge. Then it is worthy for the intellect you are using it. Otherwise, majority, 90% of our activities are governed by the nature. Do you think that you eat the food and you say, oh no, don't disturb me, I'm digesting the food? Food is digested. You grow, you have hormonal changes, so the animals. Are you understanding that point? What a big deal. Once I will have $50 million, then I will have, then I will think of, then I'm planning to have a kid, have a child. So you have already crossed 40, 45 years with a lot of stress, you cannot bear a child. Finished. They are disturbing the nature. What master is saying, study Eastern wisdom to study yourself. What is governed by the mind? Now you want to find out how to transcend what is governed by the mind. Mind has a three states: sleep, waking up, dream. Now the intellect should be used to transcend it, to find the real self. I have to find out what are the three bodies: physical, subtle, and the causal bodies. Can I transcend it? Can I find the permanent state of happiness, love, truth, and wisdom? There I have to use the intellect. Animals, have digestion problem. They start eating the grass over pet, and they throw it out. Not a big deal. Are you getting it? Are you thinking in that way? When you start thinking in that way, then you are changing the mind. Then only the mind is going to get married to the knowledge. Then you will live into the higher awareness. And that learning is done by the satsang. Constantly, step by step, you are learning some of these principles and you understand. Satsang. Satsang, company of the real. Where is Brandy? Brandy is not here. She is engaged in company of the false. That is why. Do you see that? Think of this. Once it inspires you, my intellect should find out something new. Something new. One has got the trauma last week, and she says that, I have been having a trauma for many years. What to do? I said, first thing to find out what is false self and what is real self. I'll give you the knowledge. You have to contemplate and reflect. And then we have to find out whether there is a trauma in the real self or whether there is a trauma in the false I. Can you think of it? How we solve the problem? How we solve the problem? I'm not challenging the modern science, and because you have no way to challenge it. One, and then there is no need to challenge. So by satsang, we have an alchemy of inner union. No, yoga says the union. That is what yoga is talking about. Studying Eastern wisdom to study yourself, and then two marriages. You are deleting the vasana aspect and the past impression aspect and the habitual and the repetitive aspects. You transcend into the higher awareness, and then you realize, oh, this is me. This is what you are talking about, the real self. Think. Knowledge and intellect. First marriage, mind and emotion. Mind must be supported by the emotion, but if there is a blind belief, it will not work. Now, what I said, belief pending inquiry has come here. Look at these steps. And then what happens? Belief pending the inquiry. I drop all that comes from blind belief. I drop it. Mind is free from the impurities. You keep on listening and understanding these principles. You use the intellect. What a great deal if you are using the intellect. I have to eat pasta, I have not to eat chicken. What a big deal. I simply like it, so I eat it. The intellect says to eat to live or to live to eat. What animals do? I'm also doing the same thing. Are you getting it? So the intellect challenges the mind. Eat to live or live to eat. Make a choice. And that starts the purification. That is why we say satsang is very important. Satsang is very, very important. We have understood we have already understood the many definitions of the satsang, company of the real, and in the last session. Now another master gives you that what exactly happens in the satsang. Means you are listening, learning, contemplation, reflection, plus you do the practice. That in all includes into the satsang. Now what happens in the satsang? You loosen the hold of attachment and craving by consistent listening and learning. Satsang, association with the truth. It leads to mental transformation by questioning new perspective. I given you new perspective, emotional change, emotional transformation. There is a change in behavior. By consistent listening, you recognize that still the animal mind is working. I'm getting upset over a small thing like the animals. No. Can I change the perspective? Yes. Can I go beyond those emotional turbulence? Yes, I can go. How? I cannot support. I should not support it. Finished. So when I'm not supporting what it means, I'm entering into a state of non-attachment. So the first result comes by listening and learning consistently. What happens? Satsang results into detachment or non-attachment. Attachment or animal instinct is present in the mind. It causes the craving and the attachment, but I heard something. If I am non-attached, it leads me to the state of the poise and the peace. Oh, let me try, let me do this. Let me not attached. What is that non-attachment? You are not bringing that object or a person again and again in your mind, processed by the intellect, and you see you are already relaxed. Where is the trauma? There is no trauma. Yeah, we have to learn a couple of those principles and it is gone. I don't know whether the psychotherapy has been discovered based on these principles. Those scientists have not referred it. We have a wonderful way. We have the principles, clarity. So what it says, the first result is satsang leads to non-attachment, or you can say detachment. So what happens in the non-attachment or detachment? Mental transformation. You reduce your identification, objectivity. I'm your husband. How dare you? You drop this. I'm your wife. Oh, what? How dare you? You drop that idea. I'm your teacher and you are. You drop that identification. Oh, you're calm and easy. Train any of the pet calm and easy? Not possible. Because we have an intellect separate from the mind, we have a self-awareness, we have to use this. That is the meaning of the study Eastern wisdom. So we undergo a behavioral changes, letting go. Can you teach your pet let go? Think. And it gives you a very positive impact daily in your life, is the power of the satsang. So the first result, satsang, leads to detachment. I'm summarizing and then we will go a little deeper. Now once I am in the state of a detachment, it will lead to freedom from a delusion. Because intense attachment creates a false identity. I'm your husband, I'm your wife, how dare you say this? Women may say, I'm talking of women liberation, And you are always pushing me. I am living in a country who is a leader of the free world. You are creating a bondage. We categorize them into animal nature. That is what happens. Lioness takes care of all the cubs. The head of the hyenas is female, is women. Male should fight there, male liberation. Unnecessary. Study Eastern wisdom. I gave you an example. I have to see how to transcend the three states and the three bodies. Is there any state of permanent happiness or not? Not getting always running after the pleasure of the world. That is the rule of the intellect. This is what the master is saying. And that is understood in satsang. So you see that satsang, first result is detachment, and detachment breaks up those ideas, imagination, feeling, emotions, identification, which causes the delusion. So detachment results into freedom from the delusion. You're not doing anything. That is why I learned. I spent 26 years. Because otherwise there is no alternative. Then after 26 years, I was thrown by destiny to be with you in US. So freedom from the delusion. Mental, what is freedom from the delusion? Now, can you compare the delusion with the trauma? And you see how you can guide people. Christina, 10% of the amount, reminding you. It gives you a new perspective. Freedom from the delusion. Now, what the master is saying, what is the result of this satsang? We are understanding step by step. Satsang, detachment. From detachment, freedom from the delusion. Now think for a while that you are free from the delusion. Will you have a wandering mind or a steady mind? Mind is wandering only because of the delusion and attachment and identification. There is no reason the mind will be wandering, distracted. There is no reason why you will complain that I'm not able to control the mind. My mind is totally upset. My mind is crazy. My mind is running. There is no reason. You have removed the delusion. You have removed the identification or reduced the identification. Take it in a scientific way. So you see satsang to detachment, detachment to freedom from a delusion, and freedom from the delusion, the mind is steady. Your mind is relaxed and calm. When? In every situation. So that steady mind the master is talking about, you live in a higher awareness. You consistently you are living within. Your mind is moving within, living within. Your thought, speech, and action is moving from inside to outside, not from outside to inside. And there is a tremendous change in your behavior and attitude. It shapes the personality. And it helps you in your professional life, social life, family life. That is the power of the satsang. We have already understood, we are answering the question. What is that question? That the intellect marries to the knowledge of the Eastern wisdom. Now you understand what it means by the marriage. My goal is that. But the mind continues to keep its old habit, repetitive, craving, instinctual movement. It has to marry the knowledge in the intellect, but the stumbling block is the vasana, past impression, attachment, identification. Lot of impressions are there. Trauma. You can add trauma, also depression. Think of it. Think. Fortunately, I had studied modern psychology, so I can easily correlate. You can question it. I will answer and clarify. So yes, so satsang is very important. So the mind should marry with that emotional resilience. That emotional resilience should leave the past impression. How? By satsang. And then we come to the satsang. Satsang, first, first, first result is detachment. So when you continue with the detachment, it moves to the second level. It leads to the freedom from a delusion. From the freedom from a delusion, it leads to the steadiness of the mind. You can say steadiness of the mind means the mind is living within. It is not taking its resources from the past impression. It is free. It is calm. It is relaxed. Can you live into that state of the calmness, peace, even for a week? No, I've been living in calmness for a week. Outside, person one. Calmness to the person two also. Person three also. I explained you. Don't be in a haste. So, person one, two, three, in calmness, in 1 week, we realize our real self. That is what the Master says. So, with that steadiness of the mind, liberation while living. Master is saying liberation while living. That is the importance of the satsang. Literally, we have taken a journey from understanding the very term company of the real. But what is real? Real has to be understood by some principle and concept. What is that? One concept. Take 2 or 3 concepts. That I am of the nature, what transcends the 3 states. I am the real self which transcends the 3 bodies. I am the real self of the nature of permanent peace and happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. Now, in light of today's discussion, ask the question. What is that question? No, I'm in stress. Give me some meditation. You do 10 minutes of practice of meditation, you are relaxed to become stressful again. Why? Because you lack satsang. You did not hear these principles. You are not concerned about it, and that meditation practice become habitual, instinctive, and you fall into ignorance rather than you are rising. What the Master says. Master says out of 1 million people, 1 person is interested in the journey of the Eastern wisdom. Out of 1 million, then you collect 1 million who are interested in the Eastern wisdom. 1 really study. 3rd level, have 1 million more who are interested in studying. Out of that 3rd category, only 1 is consistent and steady, continues the journey. So when I know the principles, I'm not worried about that I should market and bring 50 people. Why should I bring 50 people? Why? Only 1 reaches to that state. They will be light unto thousands of people. Now, out of one who are consistent, starts realizing that there is some entity beyond the false eye. And in the sixth category, one reaches there. You see, I'm linking. So, marriage is emotional. You see, intellect marries to the knowledge, mind marriages to the intellect, condition, emotional, emotions, negative, or so-called habitual, instinctive, animal nature pulls the mind again and again to the vasana, to the animal nature. That is why I started today's talk. What exactly is a big thing if this, should I use the word science? If the science has found out 6 or 8 hours of the sleep is important for every adult, what a big deal. You are still engaged in your sleep and waking in the dream state. What we are saying, your intellect should be used to find out you continue to exist beyond the three states. Understanding. Or can I live beyond the three bodies? Satsang. So when we do satsang, we get rid of the vasana. Satsang. Now understand clearly why is the happiness not enough for a fulfilling life. Animals cannot think of it. So we also don't think of it. So we are not studying Eastern wisdom. Why is happiness not enough for fulfilling life? So I get pleasure from many sources in the world. And those objects of pleasure have become a sin to my life. You continue to sleep on the sleep number 1. They will sue me, that is a company. Dan is here, sleep number 1. It will give you a good sleep. We are not thinking, can I go beyond that pleasure? But when I think, it means, that is why I said happiness and wisdom both are essential. That is the series. I named it. Why is wisdom not enough for fulfilling a life? I have to understand. Wisdom without happiness can be emotionally detached. So we say in the very beginning, the Eastern wisdom brings an end to the suffering, helps you to realize the state of permanent happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. We have the 2 goals. What are the consequences of pursuing happiness without wisdom? I have already explained it. Potential for disappointment, dissatisfaction. Why there is a disappointment and dissatisfaction? The attachment continues, delusion continues, lack of deeper meaning of life continues. Did I prove it? Say yes. What are the consequences of pursuing wisdom without happiness? Then I will dig deep inside. Oh, you have to sleep only for 6 hours or 8 hours. Oh, diabetes, then you should stop eating this, eat this, eat not. There is a website, it's a very beautiful website. Do this, don't do that. Eat this, don't eat that. Interesting. what we are doing. Um, we are, after all, it comes from the scientific. What animals are also doing? Does the lion go and start eating the grass? They know it. Eat this, eat not. Use your intellect to transcend. That comes by satsang. Are, do you find a stronger person in front of you? What happens to your mind? Mind says withdraw. Animals are also doing the same thing. Animals are doing the same thing. Are you getting it? The father lion is still stronger. And the cub has grown old and he says, no, let me dominate. And the father lion makes the adult lion run away. Start your journey independently. Mind can easily understand. What is the role of the intellect? Satsang. So many people think of that, it's the entire Eastern wisdom is just based on the belief. No, it is not based on the belief. It is based on inquiry. You have to inquire everything. And then the master says, I'm reminding you that when you process, when you follow the path, when you are consistent with the satsang, what is the result? I have told you before also, but I am repeating, vidya dadati vinayam, vinayam dadati patratam. That knowledge to humility, humility to a qualified seeker gives you the inner wealth of the six treasures and the steadiness of the mind, and that results into finding your real nature. I get few messages every week on the LinkedIn. This is a proven strategy to have six, including the 7 figures income. I know you don't have it, that is why you are approaching me. I have a clear understanding. Bill Gates is not approaching me. Do you see that? We get carried away instantly. Why we get carried away? Because of I've already told you why we study the Eastern wisdom. Sometimes I ask interesting questions and sometimes I say, okay. Even 25-year-old guy writes to me, you can have 6 figures income. Within 90 days. I will not charge you anything. Gimmicks, marketing gimmicks. When your mind is clear, you take a right decision. Otherwise, you get carried away. So not only that, he is very handsome and she is very beautiful. Attachment, association, satsang results into detachment. Detachment does not mean dryness in your life. You are full of life. Where is the trauma? Where is the depression? That is the power of satsang. Check how you are responding. By attending the satsang, now you know how to respond. And also you check how your dad respond, mom respond, kids, sibling, honey, people, relations. Check your mental state. Before, during, and the after. Satsang gives you that awareness. If you have not done any action, you spoke, you resolved the problem, you are appreciated about your insight, That comes. That is the rule of the intellect. You will experience the calm, peace, and the joy. What are those moments? Those moments are choiceless awareness. Living in a moment. They are transformative. You are a great seeker. And that qualified seeker leads you to a state of close your eyes. Eyes are closed. Place, position, and posture. Being comfortable. Now you see the intellect, because by listening and learning satsang, the mind does not put you into the state of confusion. So being comfortable is easy. Being carefree is so easy to you. Carefree. And after being carefree, you look at the flow of the breath. But sometimes it takes time, some days, and that is natural. Why it is natural? Because sometimes the mind continues to stick is to the past impressions, and but it takes little more time. That is all. So that is why I say look at the flow of the breath. With that flow of the breath, first neighbor. You see, that is the role of the intellect, my friends. Now you see, now you understand that how any master designs the meditation practice. The goal is to use the intellect to its optimum. What we are doing with the six neighbors, you already know it. So the first neighbor is the world outside. The world is outside is the same for animals and also for me. What is that is different? You know it. I'll not say that. Second neighbor, the physical body. You're just aware, and you know your journey should take you deeper. Third neighbor. By understanding only one word, they are your neighbors. What it means? No identification. So you prevent yourself from delusion and depression and trauma. And I can name lot of those challenges. I believe you are getting it. It is so liberating. And the fourth neighbor is the mind with the dualities. We pinpoint mind, you are confused because of the duality. If there is only one, there is no confusion. Oh, oneness. And the fifth neighbor, intellect in the I thought. sixth neighbor is the ignorance, and the beyond that. Animals can't. I can, but I don't try. And the satsang comes as a great power. It reinforces. How? Part of the satsang, Sarve Bhavan Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Now, in light of that satsang, go deeper. May there be happiness for all. If happiness is the essential nature, intellect says that is why let happiness be there for everyone. It only comes because of the humility. It does not come because of the ego. I have $1 million, I'm sparing $1 million to make you happy. It doesn't come that way. Do you just see that the intellect liberates? What liberates your mind? Where the mind is emotionally connected for survival to the food and the clothes and other stuff. Now it is you are liberating. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. May there be peace for all. May there be peace for all. Think. Same thing. Now the intellect is not going anywhere unless the peace is settled. The mind continues its journey and it takes time. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. May there be completeness in all. Completeness, the wholeness. That is the wholeness and holiness. Your intellect stays in the state of the wholeness. Mind follows it. You live into a highest awareness, and that is what is known as the holiness. I'm not going into what all the religions explain. That is secondary. Why it is secondary? That is why we all have left the organized religion. We always have a doubt. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. May there be auspiciousness for all. How can you have those depression and the trauma in your life? No way. Provided satsang. And I gave you the result of this satsang. You are listening, but you are not contemplating and reflecting. And then you're not doing a satsang. Whatever is perceived by the mind and the sense organs is the part of the physical body. And we have a memory of that. We have memory of that. Memory of that means you are aware, you are sitting here in a session. That is what the mind says. When the mind says, yes, I'm sitting and practicing meditation in this session, you are referring to the body. The mind politely goes back to the same level of identification. It says, yes, I have understood, and still it goes there. So, what is the. Now you understand the principle of the Eastern wisdom? Oh, yes. And then we go, what is being processed by the mind with a password is the subtle body. Did you understand? Password protected. What you are thinking, how you are dealing with the subtle body, I don't know. So it is password protected. So you recognize it is subtle body, not me. What about the causal body? I have yet to know the real self blocked by the causal body. So it means there is still a level of ignorance, but the beauty is that I am living within. I have understood. That is a good point. Look at it. Be very clear about it. So I told you that satsang leads to detachment, detachment leads to freedom from a delusion, and the freedom from a delusion leads to the steadiness of the mind. So check that steadiness of the mind by dropping Om Shanti on the 16 segments of fingers. Now, did you understand how I developed these steps? You're just dropping Om Shanti, and it is happening. You don't miss even one segment. What it means, steadiness of the body. So every time, basically, we are checking satsang. I told you detachment, freedom from delusion, to steadiness of the mind, to awakening. They have made a simple steps. We will go deeper and understand it. And now leave this, move the mind inside the heart, visualize the triangle of any color, moving the mind on each side of the triangle, dropping Om Shanti and waiting for sync. The moment you find the sync means it's a kind of freedom from the vasana. At that moment, you push the mind with a long Om mentally. You find the mind seemingly stops, you drop Shanti and finished. You do nothing. You wait. Lower nature is the same with the humans and animals. Higher nature, higher consciousness. So that is why we want to be self absorbed, do nothing, wait for a revelation. Oh. Absorbed. It's a conscious self-absorption. So we need only an awareness to know it. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences, bring the hands down, we'll share our experiences. If you have any question, you can ask. How are you, Stephen?
Good, sir. Thank you very much. I am doing well, feeling good, and my mind is definitely settled. My meditation was deep and absorbed. So thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. How are you, Dennis?
Uh, Thank you. My contemplation today was that body, mind, and the intellect are all three manifestations of the higher consciousness of the real self. And the body and the mind are kind of at a lower level, gross, so to say, manifestations, uh, pre-programmed by the nature and having the capacity to function as programmed, while the intellect has the capacity to go beyond the program. So it has the capacity to realize its real nature and the real nature of the body and the mind and the whole perceived world.
Yes,
And and my meditation was calm and peaceful and absorbed. Thank you.
beautiful. Who told us that we are the body? Tell me. Who taught you? We accepted it blindly. Who taught us that we are the mind? We accepted it blindly. So that is why even the science is extremely careful in defining an individual. Very careful. But in being careful, they don't have a clear idea, so we have a different models of being a human being in science. Where you have many models. 2 plus 2 is 4. So why it should be 5, why it should be 6, why it should be 7. So because we are heavily conditioned since our childhood by the society, by the religion, we have to follow the journey of the Eastern wisdom in order to reach to that higher consciousness. Simple way. How are you, David and Jay?
Thank you, sir. Love the lesson. The takeaway for me was towards the end, I think you said choiceless awareness. So that became a theme for me during my meditation, and I had a very deep, unattached, pleasant, calm, peaceful, happy meditation.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautifully, beautiful said. Yes, once the intellect digests and assimilates this understanding, I give one example. Who among animals who does not know the three states, sleep, dream, and even if they don't know, they sleep. Okay, if your mind says no, 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 I don't want to challenge you, but they fall into sleep, they wake up, they eat, they drink. Is it not a fact? Now I'm not talking of hard drink, but they drink. Is it not? Same thing we are also doing. Now you say it is an intellectual progress or progress by the intellect so that I know how many hours I should sleep. Eastern wisdom says transcend the sleep, transcend the waking state. Now compare the two knowledge. That is what we are learning in satsang. How are you, Jerry?
I'm good, thank you. I think the continuous, uninterrupted working on the mind and that application of proving through the reflection and contemplation leads us to be able to the mind's inspired to want to know the
Yeah,
wisdom.
Yeah,
And because we see it, we see glimpses through our day to day,
yeah,
and then it gets to a place where we don't have to really work at that. We still have opportunity, but we are separate, and then there's a lot of freedom there. So
beautiful.
we
Yes,
need to.
yes, beautiful. Something prompted into my mind, let us analyze death by the science. We use a very flowery word, clinical death. Huh? Christina knows more than me, and even Jerry, he has a nursing profession. We are saying such a simple way, all your activities associated with the mind, your desire comes to an end in death. You are not aware, that is clear. What happens in sleep? Compare side by side. Do you know that you are sleeping? No. Do you know that you are dead? No. Sorry, I'm just using that language. Do you know that? No, I don't know. So there is something in the sleep present, and there is something absent in the in so-called the clinical death. I have to find out that. Don't go for clinical death or you know, physical death, etc. That is the job of the intellect. Uh, we are just posing a different question in a simple way. Terry, you are thinking something. What you're thinking? Tell me. So we all are same, Terry. There is hardly any difference. You have such limited physical activity, so I have limitations with this body in other areas. That is all. There is no other difference. But we don't think in that way. We start thinking in a way of my identification with an attachment pertaining to those activities, and then we get into delusion. So when we get rid of those notions, that is what the Jerry was saying, the mind has to continue to evolve. When the mind continues to evolve, it does not compare. It says, I am what I am. How are you, Christina?
Thank you. I noticed a deep level of detachment, and then almost upon opening my eyes, I could watch the mind recreating and reconnecting with those attachments.
Yeah. Oh, that is why you look so beautiful today. Because the mind is so calm and relaxed. Yes. Inner beauty manifest, we say the face is the index of the mind. Yes, it happens when you feel that sense of the freedom. The mind, and that mind is emotionally associated with the knowledge. It gives us a totally a different level of experience. Beautiful. How are you, Vaibhav? All are beautiful, It doesn't mean that, you don't look beautiful. So don't compare. So, yes.
Thank you, sir. The mind is calm. And today's lesson I learned that like using the intellect, I limit my intellect if I live with a reactive mind or the what the mind which complains. there is no intellect in knowing that. But the other intellect is when even the situation is tough, and I train my mind to be calm inside. That they at that time when the intellect would come. It's like that. I remember one point long back you said that there's if I put a logic which is not giving me calmness, then there is no point of putting that logic. Use a logic which gives me calmness inside. That would be helpful for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you are saying in a very simple way. The mind into anxiety and the intellect reminds and recalls that knowledge. What? I'm beyond the subtle body. Mind? What you are doing because of your past impressions. So I'm releasing those, releasing, instant release is there. So there is a, what the science is doing is all right because, but from the perspective of the Eastern wisdom, I feel what they are doing, the doctor spends a half an hour to explain the trauma. Oh, you have this trauma, for example, this trauma. What exactly is the trauma in a simple word? What exactly is the trauma? It is deep depressing, deep, you can say distressing or disturbing experience. So we have defined it. So are you disturbed? I ask a simple question. Are you disturbed? Okay, let me know where you are disturbed. So dig deep inside. The one guy who, the woman who worked in New Jersey with what you can say, the highly Tiffany Jewelers. She said, I will throw my daughter out. I gave you that story. I said, but why? Now I have been paying for her school fees and car and etc. I said, can you pay to me even for a month? No, I cannot pay you, but why? Because I'm attached. So I said, now minus attachment and now think. So your disturbing pattern of mind goes away. We have a very clear understanding. I may be wrong, but that is how we take care in the journey of this self-discovery. Why I said that take care of your mind if your mind is disturbed, transcend it. That is the point I'm making. Transcend it. So then we'll all look beautiful. That is all. Thank you. We'll meet again on Thursday.
Thank you.
Namaste.